The silence of the mansion. The front door clicked shut with a definitive thud, a punctuation mark on his retreat from the world. Daniel Thorne, CEO of Thorne Industries, a man whose name was synonymous with power and wealth, adjusted his tie. His custom-tailored blue suit, still crisp from the transatlantic flight, felt like armor. He had returned to his sprawling estate in the Hollywood Hills 3 days earlier than planned, utterly drained by boardroom politics and the incessant, fake smiles of business rivals. All he wanted was the vast, echoing silence of his home. But as he stepped into the foyer, a soft, unfamiliar sound drifted from the kitchen, the quiet murmur of children. His face tightened. Children. He paid his staff more than enough to ensure no children were running around his pristine, minimalist mansion. He strode toward the kitchen, his polished leather shoes clicking sharply against the marble floor, each step a testament to his rising irritation. He pushed open the swinging kitchen door, and the sight that greeted him held him in a moment of cold, stunned silence. His housekeeper, Eleanor, was bent over the gleaming quartz countertop, scrubbing it with a ferocity that seemed to be an outlet for some inner turmoil. But strapped to her body in a faded grey sling were 2 toddlers with pale, blonde hair and wide, solemn eyes. They clung to her like she was their entire world, their last lifeline. Danielle's voice exploded, sharp and low. "What in the hell is this?" Eleanor flinched, then slowly lifted her head. Her face was etched with exhaustion, but her gaze was steady and defiant. "Mr. Thorne, you weren't supposed to be back yet." His jaw clenched, his voice rising in disbelief. "That is your first thought. You have turned my home into a daycare, and you expect me to stand here quietly. Who are they? Why are they here?" The babies shifted uneasily at the harsh sound of his voice. Eleanor adjusted the sling, murmuring soft Spanish words to soothe them. She didn't stop scrubbing the counter. She didn't drop her gaze. "They are my sister's children." Daniel blinked, momentarily taken aback, then scoffed. "So, they are your problem now. Do I pay you to bring your family drama into my house? This is unacceptable." "They're not supposed to be here," she said quickly, her voice strained under the weight of his anger. "Only for the past 3 days, and that makes it better." He stepped closer, his shadow falling over her, a dark and imposing figure. 3 days of breaking the rules. 3 days of lying to me. "Do you see how serious this is?" Eleanor straightened, clutching the sling protectively. "Their mother is dead. Their father is gone. There's no one else but my mother, and she's too old, sir. Last week she fell. Her body can't handle 2 toddlers anymore, so I brought them with me because I had no other choice." Daniel's lip curled in a sneer. "That's not my concern. You should have found another solution. A shelter, perhaps, but not this. You do not bring children into my home without my permission." "A shelter?" She almost laughed, a sound that came out as a choked sob. "Do you know what happens to kids in those places? How quickly they disappear into a system that doesn't care. My mother begged me not to, but she said, 'Eleanor, you keep them close. Don't let strangers take them.' So, I brought them here. I thought maybe you wouldn't notice. I was wrong." Daniel's tone cut like glass. "You've been working under my roof, hiding 2 extra mouths to feed. Do you have any idea what that looks like for me? For my reputation? Your reputation?" Her voice was filled with a weary kind of devastation. "You're worried about your image, while I'm worried about keeping them alive. Sir, that's a luxury I don't have." Daniel slammed his hand against the counter, making one of the babies whimper. He lowered his voice, making it hard and deliberate. "Don't turn this on me. You broke my trust. You deceived me." Eleanor's breath quickened, but she didn't back down. She adjusted the babies again, their small faces pressed into her chest. "Yes, I broke your trust, but I did not break my promise to my sister. I told her on her deathbed that I would keep them. So if you want to fire me, fire me. But I will not leave them." The words hung in the air, a challenge. Daniel glared at her, fury boiling in his chest. He wanted to fire her on the spot, to remind her of her place. Yet something about the way she clung to the babies, not as a housekeeper, but as someone cornered by life, made the room feel heavier. He took a step back, his jaw set. 3 days or not. This cannot continue. You've crossed a line. Her lips trembled, but her eyes remained locked on his. I know, but sometimes salvation means crossing lines. You have never been forced to choose between your job and your family. I have, and I chose them. A baby's soft whimper filled the silence, a tiny crack in Daniel's armor. He pressed his palms flat against the cold countertop, breathing hard, his eyes still on Elena. For a housekeeper, she carried herself with more defiance than most men in his boardroom. Do you think I just allow this to happen? He said finally, his voice low and measured. Do you think I built all this by letting people bend the rules? No, Elena replied, her tone steady, though her throat was tight. I think you built this by making the hard choices when others were too afraid. And I am not afraid of you. This is my choice. I will not abandon them. Daniel's mouth twitched with contained rage. He wanted to throw her words back at her, but he found himself staring at the children. One small hand had slipped free of the sling, fingers curling aimlessly in the air as if reaching for something, anything. You lied to me, Elena, he said coldly. I didn't lie, she corrected. I hid them. And yes, that is a betrayal. But it was for 3 days, sir. Only 3. Before, my mother did everything. Fed them, carried them, prayed over them. But her body is failing. You know what happens when time takes your strength. I couldn't leave her there, falling under the weight of 2 babies. Her voice wavered, and in those final words, her dignity was more unsettling to Daniel than her defiance. He rubbed his jaw, taking a few steps. So what now? You expect me to run a mansion around your family drama? To have you carry babies while you scrub countertops? I expect nothing, she said firmly. I expect you to do what you want. Fire me, sue me, erase me from this house, but at least leave my dignity intact, because I won't leave them. I won't look the other way. Her words landed heavier than she intended. Daniel stared at her, something shifting behind his hard eyes. He wasn't used to being challenged, not in his boardroom, and certainly not in his own kitchen. One of the babies fussed, a soft cry spilling into the air. Elena adjusted them, murmuring, yeah, tranquilo, Cario. Her voice softened, but her body remained rigid, waiting for his judgment. Daniel exhaled slowly, his fists unclenching. He saw not just a housekeeper in distress, but a woman fighting battles on so many fronts: grief, poverty, duty. And somehow, through it all, she was still standing here, still working, still carrying more than anyone should. You should have told me from the beginning, he said, at last. I know, Elena admitted, her eyes glistening. I was afraid. Afraid you would see me as weak. Afraid you would throw me out. I couldn't risk losing everything in one moment. And yet here we are. If you want me gone, just say it. I'll pack tonight. The words came out before she could stop them. I'm not firing you. Elena blinked, bewildered. What? You heard me. His tone had softened, though it still carried authority. You made a mistake. Yes, a big one. But I have seen men with millions in their pockets who wouldn't lift a finger for anyone but themselves. And you were carrying 2 babies while scrubbing my house. That kind of loyalty, that kind of strength, is not something I can just dismiss. Tears welled in her eyes, though she forced her chin high. So what happens now? Daniel looked at the babies again. Their innocent eyes followed his every move. For the first time in years, he felt something pull in his chest, something unshakably human. Now, he said carefully, we set boundaries. You don't bring them here again, unless I say so. But I will make sure your mother has help. Real help. Doctors, medicine, maybe a nurse to ease her burden. He paused, then added quietly, and as for them, I will do what I can. Not a shelter, not a system that swallows them whole. Eleanor's mouth parted in shock. You would do that? He nodded once, sharply. Not for them. For you. Because you proved to me what most people never do, that some promises are worth breaking the rules for. Her knees felt weak, but she steadied herself, clutching the sling tighter. Thank you, sir, she whispered, her voice trembling. Daniel turned away, his expression unreadable. But the steel in his posture had shifted, replaced with something heavier, a sense of care he hadn't expected to feel. As he left the kitchen, Elena sagged against the counter, tears finally falling freely. The babies pressed closer, their small breaths warm against her chest. She kissed the tops of their heads, murmuring, "We're safe. We're safe now." In the silence that followed, a billionaire's footsteps echoed down the hall, and though he would never admit it aloud, a thought pressed against the edges of his mind. Sometimes, wealth isn't measured in dollars, but in the lives you choose not to walk away from.